In this video, I'm going to be installing and coding a remanufactured Index 12 injector for a 2010 BMW 535xi with an N54 engine. I do want to apologize in advance that more than likely I'm not going to know half the tools that I'm using. I just know that they're the correct ones. So if I'm saying use this tool, use that tool, those are the correct tools to use. This is an N54 engine, as you can see. So we had to take off all of this stuff here, which is basically the cabin filter and weather stripping, a whole bunch of other stuff. And then we gotta take off the engine cover, which I still have this. And then once we take off the engine cover, then we gotta go to the back, take out one of the fuses for the fuel pump, and then turn the car on and off, make sure that there's no fuel actually running. Then we can pop out the injector. Well, there's a lot more stuff in between that, but that's the summary of it. But what I can say is this is basically what you need. And I will say, this right here is an Autel programmer. It's amazing. It's literally just a code reader for a car. It's the best that you can get. Now, in my opinion, it's something that's definitely worth for any car because that can actually do every single make and model of any car that's ever existed in this world. And I got it for about 400 bucks. So highly recommend getting that because other code readers are probably not gonna work. And you can also code with it, but you just need a bunch of ratchets as well as different sizes. So we'll again go over the different sizes and the different sockets that we need, but more than likely I'm not gonna know everything that I'm talking about with tools, but at least we can get this cleared away. And since I did forget to mention, the reason why I'm changing this out is because my cylinder 6 is actually misfiring. It's got brand new Delphi Technologies ignition coils. It's got NGK spark plugs. I mean, this car is pretty much a brand new car. It's just for some reason cylinder 6 is misfiring. So the idea of this video is to hopefully have this injector be the reason why it's misfiring, and if it's not, then it's going to be a compression issue, and at that point this car is toast. It's got new solenoids, it's got everything that you can think about in the engine. It's pretty much brand new. So this is the before. We're going to turn the car on, so you can see it kind of runs well, but it won't run well for long. It's just also cold right now, so it might start misfiring here soon. But you can see obviously there is an engine code light that is literally for the misfire, and then it's affecting everything else. The camshaft timing, turbo boost, boost control. I mean, everything that you can think about in a BMW, it's affecting. And it's just one cylinder. I really don't know what this sound is. It's like a consistent banging like this. Oh, and just my luck, it's not misfiring, so we're gonna turn off the car. That sucks, but it is misfiring, especially when it's super hot, and then that's when the car misperforms. So anyways, just trust me on it. It is misfiring, and you can definitely hear it. You can see it. It's pretty bad. So what we actually can start doing is taking off all of this stuff here, the engine cover, and exposing ourselves to the ignition coils, the wiring apparatus for the injectors, but also exposing ourselves to the injectors. Now, we're not going to actually take out anything until it actually gets here, because the reality is once you take out an injector, you're exposing the camshaft and the internals of the engine, which is not good. So if we have to wait for that, that's not going to be a great idea, and especially since this car's not been cleaned, we're running into that little bit of an issue. But we're going to go ahead and take all this off. So in order to take all this stuff off, I'm using a 14mm socket to take off these plastic bolts. And just as an FYI, these plastic screws don't actually come off. So now I'm using a T30 hex socket, I think it is. Now this T30 socket is used for only 3 screws that hold down the engine cover to the top of the engine. It might actually be quite sad that even after working on this for so many different times, that I still don't know half the tools that I'm using. But I guess it's not a matter of like not knowing what they're called. Maybe it's the fact of knowing how to use them and which correct tool I'm using. But anyways, we are here and we have successfully gotten all this done. So now you can obviously see the exposed wiring for everything. You can see the injectors. And matter of fact, these are the stupid Index 12 injectors, and you're about to see it firsthand of what one actually looks like outside. We can't do anything more until the actual injector comes, because I think that's just a safe bet. You do not have to unplug any batteries for this, because you are actually unplugging a fuse. Now, don't you just hate it when a package carrier has your package in the city that you live in, but you can't get to it, so you have to wait the entire day? Well, that's exactly what I did. We're gonna go inside because it is cold. It's like 20 something degrees in northern Colorado. But here's the thing. This car is a 2010. Got 115,000 miles on it. It really ran perfectly fine. I don't know what happened. It's an N54, and supposedly N54s are very unreliable. I'm kind of new to the car scene, so I'm just now learning. But I'm selling this thing and I'm getting an N55, and I cannot wait to show this channel what that next car is gonna be because it's gonna be absolutely amazing. I put so much time and effort into maintenance instead of upgrades for this car. And usually it's supposed to be the other way around. Like, you're supposed to have maintenance and you could do upgrades, but not full maintenance. And yeah, so anyways, the worst case scenario is that something is really bad with the engine, which I'm assuming it probably is, and it's not just the injector. But also, I don't want to get to the point where I still have this vehicle and all the injectors fail, and that's a $2,700 fix. So it's around like 3:30 p.m. Injector's still not here, but one thing I did forget to mention is that in order to get to cylinder 6, let alone anything, especially the injector, you have to take off this crossmember bar, which you use a T45. There's 4 bolts to it. Once this is out, you pretty much got full access to the entire engine there. Only took the entire day, but finally the Index 12 injector. Let's go ahead and open this up, show you guys what it is, and install this, and then hopefully have good news for the car. So this right here is the remanufactured Index 12 injector that we're gonna be placing in cylinder 6 over here. But in order to get these guys out, we have to get this little bracket out of the way. It's behind that. You see it? So that black screw holds in the bracket. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off before we do anything with the injector. When not only taking the bracket out, but unscrewing the screw from the bracket, you have to be super careful because that screw is only about 1 inch long and it's super easy to get lost. Here in a little bit, you'll see me use a magnet just to take this out of the small space. So now this is probably the most crucial part, and that is to take the fuse out that is controlling the fuel pump. Here in the 535xi, it's in the back. So that's your fuse panel. And this is where you gotta figure out which one it actually is. And this is where we figure it out. And as you can see, it looks like it is number 72. It looks like it's this one here. Plug that out. Okay, so in order to know if you actually did this correctly is you got to actually start the car. So what this is going to do is going to prime the car up so it's full on ignition, like if you were to actually start the car to turn it on. So ignition and everything. So it'll be about 3 times. So 1. Okay, yep, see, so it died. So we're going to do one more. Gonna do one more. Maybe we'll do one more just to be on the safe side, because it sounds like it's running just a bit. There we go. Awesome. Okay. All right. So what we're gonna do now is I would get some paper towels or some shop towels that are super absorbent with a lot of stuff. I'd take a few, stuff it under for sure one of these guys here. So we're gonna end up disconnecting the arms here. Put some under here as well because it's gonna be leaking out just a tad bit, but nothing serious, or it shouldn't be, at least if you did it correctly. Now I do apologize that I didn't exactly show the entire process for this because I blocked most of it, but just take an adjustable small wrench and loosen the fittings. So this part's going to be able to show you a lot easier on the new one. I'm not going to do it to the new one just yet, but I will have to. So you get your injector puller that you can buy just literally off of Amazon. It's just a weight. So it's going to be a little bit hard to show that, but essentially it's going to screw on this part right here. And once you get it screwed on that part, you're just going to be tugging it and or just hitting it down until it's fitted. Let's go do it. That is the electrical unit that actually powers the fuel injector, so we gotta take that off as well. This here is just a little pole, so there's no clips. They don't break it. Nope, it's just a pole. Okay, awesome. In order to get the injector out properly, you need to get this injector tool, which you can get off Amazon for about $20 to $30, screwed onto the head where the fuel line was connected to the injector, screw it on, and just tap it out with the weight. This here is the old injector, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this on camera, but it doesn't look at all that bad. If you're watching this video, comment down below. Do you think it's a compression issue, or do you think it's actually a fuel injector issue? I was genuinely stumped at what the issue was, but as you can see, on the left is a remanufactured one, and on the right is the old fuel injector. Well, I guess we go ahead and put this in, and then we get to coding. Just as an FYI, these 6 digits that I'm pointing at are the ones you're going to be using to code the new injector. Okay, so now that we got the injector in, which by the way, super easy process, it's just removing that bracket and then a line, and then sometimes you do have to remove the ignition coil in order to actually like securely get that fastened and tightened with the wrench. But now we kind of backtrack. So now we're gonna go put that fuse back in, and then we are going to go ahead and code, which I've never done before, so we're gonna hope to God it works. Where the fun part comes into play, because again, I've never done this, and we plug this into the OBD port just like any other type of thing. Turn this bad boy on, select injector from the service menu. Okay, injector, and select the vehicle. We have BMW, and then I ask you to put the vehicle VIN number in, which you can obviously do from either the door panel, front. I mean, there's so many places where the VIN number is. To save you guys time, you can go to the SCP Euro blog post, and they have this step-by-step instruction guide on how to code injectors. Okay, so I am a little worried that this didn't take care of it. Turn it on again. It does sound good. Car's not rattling, which is great. But again, I haven't been driving, and we can't drive just yet because we have to put everything back in before we can do that. So far, no code, so it's very smooth. Maybe it was an injector problem. I'm not even sure if I coded it right, but it seems like I did. Guess it's time to test this out and see if it worked. And if it didn't, I don't know what to say. All right, 3, 2, 1. It definitely needs to be tuned more. I feel like it lost a little bit of power there. But like, I'm not hitting any knocks, I'm not hitting anything. But the only problem is I feel like there could potentially be the fact of I haven't driven it long enough, so the engine's not super high. I also probably shouldn't be flooring it right now since I just put a new injector in, but I'm doing it, and yeah, well, that's on me. I'm not gonna sit here and jinx myself and say that it worked, but I think it worked.